Here's one of the easiest ways to handle the I need to think about it objection. When somebody says that they need to think about it on the sales call after you've dropped the price or at whatever stage, the first thing you need to do is actually understand what they are needing to think about. If it's the price, if it's the commitment, if it's the effort required, whether or not they think that they'll be able to achieve the desired outcome that you're offering, whether or not they think they can kind of do it themselves, they think they need to go shop around, whatever it is. First question you can ask is, that's totally fine. What is it you actually want to think about? And then once they give you that, it's like, it's just as soon as you think about the money, then you want to handle the money objection. I seem to think about it and go through it with my partner, then you handle the partner objection. Or if they just say, look, this is just the way I make decisions. I always think about big decisions, especially involving money. That's when you need to kind of question the paradigm of how they make decisions in their life and impacts that that's having on them. That's got them in the position where they are today. So if you do go down that path, and it is generally the prospect saying, I just think about these types of things, then what you would need to do is just validate. Totally understand. Would you say your mindset kind of shapes the way you make decisions at the moment? And they'd be like, yeah. But okay, well, would you say you're 100% happy with where you're at in regards to fitness, your money, your leads, whatever your offer is? Let's say it's fitness. Would you say you're happy with where you're at with your overall health and well-being and your fitness? Keep in mind, this is at the end of the sales call as well. So by now you would have built up a few pains that they're experiencing, like their belt doesn't fit or their trousers don't fit or they're not feeling super confident in their body or whatever it might be. So you do have the authority to kind of ask that question and challenge them a little bit. Are you 100% happy with where you're at in regards to your health and well-being today? And they're obviously going to be like, no, because if it was a yes, they wouldn't be on this call. If they say yes, then it's like, great, man. Sounds like you don't need any help. All the best. So once they say no, it's like, okay, well, do you want to kind of allow that decision-making process to dictate your results and your life moving forward? They say, oh, probably not. Okay, well, why not? And then they're going to go into more pains and their struggles and why they haven't been able to solve this themselves. So again, you just want to validate the feelings again and say, look, man, I get it. Like, this is a hard decision. This is hard. And what I love to do here is use the skydiving analogy. So what I like to say is like, look, man, have you ever been skydiving? And sometimes people say yes, sometimes they say no. If they say no, it's like, cool. Well, look, nobody's ever jumped out of the plane, landed, and the first thing they say has never been, wow, that was awful. Well, that was terrible. Like, everyone always has a great time. It's a massive adrenaline rush. Like, I've been skydiving a couple times and it's amazing. But the only reason they were able to make that jump was because they had the person on their back helping them out the plane, and deep down they're scared. Deep down, like, their body is resisting everything of jumping out of a plane at 15,000 feet on however high up you are. When you do jump, you have this massive feeling of adrenaline and you feel safe with the person on your back. And the only way to actually achieve the outcome of successfully going skydiving and not just staying in the plane until it runs out of fuel and crashes is making decisions and starting to move forward. So what do you think you need to start making those decisions to get you to where you want to be? And then they'll probably just recap things that your program offers, like the one-to-one coaching, accountability, the technology, the eyes over their shoulder, whatever it is. And then just to recap that with them, say, cool, look, the only difference is that you made a decision. People that lose weight only lose weight when they start making decisions like they're already fit. People in business only start becoming successful when they make decisions that successful people make. So if this decision-making process you have has put you in a position where you're not happy with your fitness, money, whatever it is, how do we then put you in a situation so when your head hits the pillow tonight, you know you're doing everything you can to get to where you want to be? What this does is it sparks a lot of thought in the prospect's mind. Like, yeah, fair enough. Maybe I should perhaps change my decision-making process, because they can't think their way out of being overweight or think their way out of not having enough leads or whatever your offer is. So the overall goal of this is to allow the prospect to understand their decision-making process is flawed and inherently broken and has led them to where they are today. It can sometimes seem combative, but it's all about tonality. You would have noticed throughout this video, I've kind of just been calm with my tonality. I'm like, let me tell you about skydiving analogy. I've been skydiving twice. And the only thing that helped me is like, what's really cool about that? Like, I'm not going to speak like that. You're just going to be like nice and calm, just like this video, and allow the prospect to kind of understand and have a very inquisitive and curious tone while delivering this. You always want to position yourself as someone trying to help them, which you are, because you've had this conversation countless times with people that have said the exact same thing to you over and over again. And only after making that jump out of the plane, they have landed on the ground, looked back up at all of the other people still in the plane, kind of looking over the edge, like, oh, wondering, should I do it? Should I not do it? Am I going to be okay with the parachute break? Will I have a good time? Thinking about and worrying about it, they're not going to go anywhere. They're going to stay on the plane forever. The plane's going to run out of fuel and crash. However, the people that actually jump out of the plane, have an amazing time, and enjoy the view and enjoy the adrenaline rush and get the result they were looking for, which was to successfully go skydiving and tick that off their bucket list, are only the people that actually jump out of the plane. and put a little bit of trust in the parachute, in the person on their back, strapped to their back, in the company, in the process. And realistically, there's people in planes that just completely refuse to do it, and they're probably not going to get very far realistically. So long story short, what you want to do is completely validate their feelings. First thing you need to do actually is understand exactly what they need to think about. If it's the money, if it's the time, if it's the partner, if it's whatever it is, but if they generally just need to think about it, that's when you go through this flow. A great question to ask here again is, can I just ask, like, what are you afraid of having happen? What's going on for you? What's coming up for you? Because then they're going to kind of, again, ask that in an inquisitive, curious tone, and then they're going to let you in a little bit, and you want to jump on their side of the table to go into problem solving mode together. So try this on your next sales call and let me know how you go.